Okay, we're getting people joining. Just little back. All right. Jai Mohanji, everybody. Welcome
Jai Jai
to
Mohanji.
Jai Mohanji. Welcome to another session of Experiencing Mohanji. And this is actually by the testimonials team based on all the beautiful testimonials we have received from various people from across the world. So each time we do try to get one authentic testimonial for us to, listen to,
Experiencing
share,
Mohanji.
and also ask questions and share our own experiences also. Yeah. So today, all of you, I think, must have guessed by now. We have Rajesh Kamath here, who is going to speak to us and share one of his testimonials. And he's ready to answer all our questions because he's been one of the devotees or disciples with Mohanji, very closely worked with Mohanji. So Rajesh, over to you.
Right. Thank you for having me here. And I think one of the things I wanted to talk about is not one of my testimonials, but something that I really liked. I think it's there in Guru Leela 1, I think. This testimonial is about a person who met Mohanji. He's not known to the community. He's not from the usual Monji community. And he wrote this testimonial much later after the experience. So, as the way the testimonial goes is that this person was doing a lot of sadhana, and he had reached a certain stage in his spiritual journey, but he was not able to go beyond it. I mean, he was try as he might. He had reached a certain stage. He was not able to go beyond that plateau, and he tried to meet various masters or I should say spiritual teachers, and he tried to discuss this problem, but somehow it didn't work out. So he was like desperately looking for a solution. So later on, what happens is, I don't know how, this was much before, just when Mohanji became Mohanji. This is around 2012 or 13,
Wow.
much before I met him, long before I met him. So I think it was somewhere between 12 or before Mohanji even left his job. So when
Oh,
this teacher of his said that a master is coming to our place. So this is somewhere in Maharashtra, the western state of India. And he said this master is coming in, and I feel that one of his teachers told him, I feel that this person might have the solution you're seeking. So, and Mohanji, those days, he used to do satsang, and then he used to follow it with Shaktipat. So, this gentleman came to the satsang, and he's a Maharashtrian, a person who speaks Marathi from the western side or western part of India. And he spoke very limited English. He didn't speak much. So when he came to this satsang, he suddenly realized that Mohanji was speaking only in English, and he couldn't understand a word of what Mohanji said, or very little of what Mohanji said. And he was very disappointed because he's like, my God, I came all the way here, and this person speaking English, and I can't even understand what he's saying. So after the satsang, they used to, Mohanji in those days used to give Shaktipat to everyone, and they would make people file in a queue and stand in front of Mohanji, kneel down or stand up, and then Mohanji would give Shaktipat either one person at a time or two in a row. So when his turn came, he thought maybe he would be able to ask Moji something. But the person at the queue said, because Mohanji is an expanded state, usually when we take people to Mohanji, we tell people not to say anything, be silent, just stand there, take Shaktipat and leave. So they said, don't say anything, be quiet, just stand, kneel, and then take Shaktipat and go. So he was like very, very disappointed because he was like, my God, I've come all the way here. Now they're saying, just take Shaktipat and go. And I came here only to get my question answered. I wasn't even interested in listening to the satsang and all that. So anyway, he didn't have much to do. So he came down and he kneeled in front of Mohanji, and he was ready to take Shaktipat. And suddenly Mohanji looks to him and says, stops in middle of the Shaktipat and says, speaks in Marathi, and says, what did you want to ask me? And he said, I'm just relating what he, because I was not there during this experience, but this is what he had written. So suddenly he was very surprised. He said, "Oh my God, this man is a Maharashtrian, and Mohanji is not Maharashtrian. He
That's
doesn't even speak any Marathi. He speaks only Malayalam, which is his native language, or English, and he understands a bit of Tamil. But nowadays, I think after 10 years, he started speaking a little bit more fluently in Hindi. But he's most comfortable in Malayalam only. And that time, he never spoke Hindi. He didn't speak Marathi, also very little of it. So he answered in Marathi to Mohanji saying, "This is the problem. This is where I'm stuck." And Mohanji gave him a solution. And the conversation was in Marathi. So after the conversation happened, Mohanji gave him Shaktipat and he left. So this testimonial happened a year or more later after this experience happened to him. And what he wrote in this experience was that I have received what I wanted to receive. And whatever is given me in those 5 minutes of Shaktipa of conversation, literally was spoken to Monji for a minute or two. Whatever he spoke in that 2 minutes, what Monji guided him, and the Shaktipa, he said, both these two things are enough for me to reach the highest in this lifetime. I don't need to meet this gentleman again, Mohanji. I don't need to meet him again because whatever he gave me in those 2 minutes and the Shakti path, he cleared a lot of stuff in the Shakti path as well energetically. And he said he set me on a path to liberation. So I don't need to meet this man. But I feel very overwhelmed that this person who helped me so much and helped me reach my life journey and set me on the life path, even though I didn't know him, even though I'm not his disciple and without asking for anything, he's given me the highest. So I really felt that I've taken the help of two teachers to write this testimonial in English because I don't speak in English or I don't write in English either. And he said that, I just wanted people to know that this man is so great that 2 minutes with this master is enough to set you for a life. So I mean, of all the testimonials, and this is the one that I really, really appreciate because it actually tells you the stature of both Mohanji, plus it tells you the stature of, the disciple that is most, what do you call it, most ready to receive from a master like Mohanji. That a person who's already tried everything that he wanted to try, and then when he needs the most, like Mohanji always used to say this, saying that don't try to go to masters or go to temples or go to gods and pray or whatever. Increase your eligibility and the masters will come to you. So this is the perfect example where, you don't have to go anywhere. The master comes to you when you're ready. So, and Mohanji always used to say the increase your eligibility. When a lot of people say that I want to get Kriya level 2 or level 3, or they say I want to learn the next level of learn more practices. It's not actually that more practices that are important. It's just that you do whatever sadhana you do the best you can, and automatically like for example, a lot of people, when I remember before this Kriya levels came, I don't know which levels are there now, but when we were initiated in
three
Kriya,
levels.
or 3 levels. So when we were initiated in Kriya, there was no level 2 or level 3. And most people received their level 2s and level 3s from either Mohanji or the masters in the Kriya itself. So they would get a vision and then Mohanji would tell them what else to do and they would get the thing. And then later on, I think it took almost 3 or 4 years before which they started giving Kriya level 2 and stuff. But even then, Mohanji used to say, don't worry about Kriya level 2 because if you're doing Kriya right, the masters themselves will come, whether it's me or Babaji or any Sai Baba, whichever master you want, they will personally come and give you the, when you reach a certain stage, they will give you whatever is there in that next stage. So I think, and there's a beautiful example, I think it's there in this book, Autobiography of Yogi. So one of the disciples of Lahiri Mahasaya, he meets Mohanji, sorry, he meets Lahiri Mahasaya and says that, master, I think I have done a lot of Kriya. I think I need to be initiated to level 2 of Kriya. So Larry Marshall doesn't say anything. He's quiet and he says, okay, sit down, sit down. And then suddenly there's this postman who comes in almost like he's drunk. He's drunk and he's like almost falling. And he comes into the ashram of Larry Marshall to deliver a letter. So his name is Brinda. And Larry Marshall asked Brinda, saying, Brinda, do you want, the gentleman wants initiation into level 2 of Kriya. He says, can I give it to you? This man falls at Larry Marshall's feet, prostrates at his feet and says, Master, don't give me anything. I have come here to ask you to take away because the first level Kriya has put me in so much intoxication that I'm not able to do any of my work. I'm just walking around intoxicated whole day. And there's so much joy and bliss that I'm in that I'm not able to do any work or at home or in the post office. So then he looks at the other guy and then the other person understands. So it's not the technique also. I think that we ask the master saying, give me level 2, level 3. But I think if we do the technique right, Mohanji used to say that the masters will come and give you. You don't have to ask. So whenever you're eligible, they will personally come and give you whatever is due for you. You don't have to, go out there and. So I think that this is what I thought these are the things which I found very interesting, saying that, you don't have to do anything. Like what Mohanji says is actually true, that whatever we need is given to
We
us
get it.
when we need to. So there was a hand raised by Krishna.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Krishna, I think even I saw that. Krishna, can you
but I
unmute,
want to
please?
complete the
And
story, so I didn't ask that
no,
time.
yeah. Okay, till he comes on. In fact, your story reminded me of one more story which happened in Shirdi. I don't know if you were there, Rajesh, 2019. There was this man who came from Hyderabad. I don't remember his
Uh,
name and all that.
yeah.
You remember? You remember
I
him?
remember the person who came from Gangapur. I think he came from Gangapur.
Yeah, but basically
Uh,
originally from Hyderabad, right? And he
yeah.
stays in Hyderabad now. So he was like, he came and Mohanji, in fact, got up and he said, I was waiting for you. That happened. And after that, when this man was talking to us, he was saying, don't, go get carried away by this man in jeans. He is not this man, pointing to Mohanji, this man in jeans and this t-shirt. He has all of his fooled. Don't go by his outward appearance. He is something great. He doesn't even let you sit in the toilet peacefully. So that was the kind of experience he had, and Mohanji was waiting for him, and whatever he needed that day, Mohanji gave it to him. And after that, he has not been coming to meet Mohanji, as far as I know, or even Rajesh can
No, I
say
think
that.
Mohanji used to say that there are a lot of his the disciples are like, for example, I think one thing I feel is a lot of people who meet Mohanji, right? Mohanji says that I
Mm,
go and deliver to people in various parts of the world.
yeah,
So I don't think you need to, meeting if your desire is strong and you are doing the right thing. I think some are either Mohanji himself comes or he sends somebody to do whatever is required
what is
for your spiritual growth. So I think
absolutely.
that I feel is necessary. The
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Very
please
good.
continue. Okay, I'm just looking for Krishna who had raised his hand. No, it's
See
not
a
here, I think.
Christina there. I don't know if that's the same one. Krishna,
No, no,
Krishna.
it was Krishna. Yeah, you continue, Rajesh.
Yeah.
So this is, this is how we have at least a few experiences we have. In fact, yesterday, if you all attended the weekly talk, also Monji mentioned about Sarah.
Yeah.
He said, I don't let her come near me always. I take care of her metaphysically, so connection metaphysically. So these are the kind of experiences. And Rajesh, this was something so beautiful because, it shows us that how we crave to be near Mohanji, in his presence and all that. It's actually not needed that much, as long as you connect, and as long as, like Rajesh very clearly said about the sadhana part, take one thing and go through it, whatever resonates with you, go through it, and things fall into place. Thank you, Rajesh, for that. It's a real eye opener, actually. And Pooja, you want to share something?
Yeah, so Rajesh, we all know how dedicated you are, how much you follow Mohanji and everything. But there's just one question that I always think of is like when you do the sadhana, whatever sadhana you are doing at present at that particular moment, you are so engrossed in it and you are doing it well and everything. But there are times when we don't grow in, like you are saying that when that eligibility comes, only then we shift to the second level of whatever we are doing, whether it's Kriya, whether it's Maitri or whatever. So when you are doing, what is the focus point for you? I mean, what are you trying to do at that time? Only is concentrating on the sadhana part, or is there a hidden agenda that okay, I do this and then I go to the next step? What is the best way to grow?
I don't think, see, thing is, what is next level anyways? I mean, if you think about it, right? What is the next level? Because somebody asked me a question yesterday saying that we are doing this Maitri intensive movement for 3 months where everybody is getting Maitris for like, we do Maitri every week to each other. So there's this Maitri intensive movement that's happening. It's ending this month where you do Maitri to a group of people do Maitri to each other every week, and then they shift. So basically, you get a chance to do Maitri to many people, and then you happen to practice also to receive. So somebody asked me, and I was practicing a version of Homa for the Maitri because I'm not doing so much of Maitri healing myself. So I was trying to do something using Homa. So somebody asked me saying, you're doing all these Homas and then you're receiving and giving or whatever the Maitris. So what is the change that has happened in the last month or 3 months? So it's very hard to say. How do you say what has changed? It's like if you look at it, it's like a huge onion. You're peeling, 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 and there's still a lot more to go. So how much is remaining is not. So thing is, when you say eligibility, right? What I feel is when I look at, okay, I'll just step back a bit. I don't actually look at sadhana as I do whatever Mohanji tells me, but now, other than that, I don't do like sadhana for the sake of doing anything. Two, three versions of it. So, for example, when I say off late, what I do is every week I have certain or a week or 10 days or a month. I look at some issue that I have which is most relevant to me. So it's not about reaching or going anywhere. For example, it's like procrastination. Every month there's a flavor, there's an issue. So whatever is my latest issue, I say, okay, 10 days, I say I work on that. So whatever is it, all the sadhana and the seva and etc. that I do in the day, I keep in mind saying, okay, this is what I need to resolve. So I work on that until that gets diluted to an extent where it doesn't bother me so much. Maybe it bother me 3 months later, 6 months later, but it doesn't bother me anymore. Then I look at the next issue that I have and I work on that. So I don't look at it sadhana as being something as like I want to get somewhere, because only the master can take you to the last level, and we don't even know what that last level is, because it's even people who are really highly spiritually evolved, even they don't have an idea of what the end goal is, because it's like a lot of people slip at the very last bit, but they are very, very high spiritual. I mean, I've seen people whom we even call masters, but who still are struggling with mind issues. Like with Mohanji, I've met many such people of great sadhana. I mean, they've done sadhana which we can't even believe to do, but still struggling with the mind. The second thing I feel is when you're with a master, the idea I feel is, see, sadhana is something you do by yourself. Like when you say, if you're saying the avenues that you have to dissolve are, one is sadhana. So like Mohanji, we do great sadhana over many years. Like Mohanji says, he took, I think he started, I don't know, he never says when he started, but it took at least 8 years to establish in silence of every day sadhana, 2:30, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So with that kind of discipline, that kind of determination, going through all the issues without a master, without any guidance, and just trusting himself and his work. So there's like Shaligram Swami used to say that if you are, there's only two ways to rise to a highest. Either you do sadhana like I did and reach the highest. That's one. Other way you do it like crazy, where you do it with no other intention, where just one focus that I need to reach the highest. The other option is you follow me and I'll take you to the highest. So I'm a lazy person, so I know. See, thing is, I think in any spiritual seeker should know how much uh, capability they themselves have. I mean, at least you should know, you should be true to yourself. Like I know I'm not great in sadhana. I can do it to some extent. For some time, 3 to 6 months, I can do it. Most of the times I'll be lazing off. Sometimes I'll get back again, but I keep going. I don't completely drop it, but I keep doing it off and on. I do my seva bit, but again, I'm not like 100% in seva. So I know that, I can't be Mother Teresa. I can't be like Mohanji or Shaligram Swami or Muktananda or Nityananda to do that much sadhana. So I know very well that I'm like a little bit of everything, but I'm not a full package in terms of any one of these things. To get to liberation, impossible for me. So then my only thing is follow the master. So what does it mean to follow the master? If you follow the master, like, I don't know, there was some discussion that we were having 2 days back, or yes, I think 2 days back in the Kailash talks. So Subhashi was mentioning, saying that, you learned Homa where you were not doing, in your past, you don't have a history of doing Homa, but you are now learned it, the Mohanji's taught you, and then it's become one of your core skills. So things like that. I think when you open out and allow the master to work through you, the master will use whatever is best thing that you have, the best qualities that you have, and what gives you most satisfaction, and let you thrive and grow in that in a way that will help society. So when I look at, I used to write decently well before. with Mohanji, it's become, he's made it much better. And, with his grace, I've come up with a couple of books and been writing a lot. But when I submit to the master and allow him to use me, he uses whatever skills I have for the best part of the world and ensures that I feel good doing that. It's not that he forces me to, like, if I don't like doing meditation, it's not that he'll try to make me do it. So he will do whatever he has to do to work through you. So I think a better way is, rather than look at sadhana and eligibility, you look at the whole package. I mean, to answer your question, right? You look at like Puja Mathur as the whole package, has got many skills. You have to do your sadhana, you have to do your seva, you have to do connection to Mohanji. So these are three aspects of liberation. So those three you have to do. But I would put the connection to the master, the third aspect, as the first one. Because if you look at Sai Satcharita, you look at Sripada Shivala, any of the great books of liberation or great books of masters, if you squeeze them and distill the essence is connection in our path. I mean, I say there are two ways to do in our path. One path is what Shaligram, those are the two paths in Raj Yoga. Either you struggle and, work, break like peel the onion yourself as much as you can with only focus on peeling the onion. Then you ask the question saying, eligibility, have I reached all those? But even they don't bother with have they reached. They just keep going until the onion doesn't exist. So that one step. The other step in our tradition, the Datta and Raj Yoga as well as Nat tradition, is follow the master. Which you look at Shri Sai Satcharita, none of the people in Sai Satcharita have excelled in any respect other than connecting to Sai Baba. That the only, if you look at their core strength of every disciple, is like they connected, whether it's Shama, whether it's Kaka Sahib Dikshit, whether it's Malsapati, any of the Baijabai, they only considered Baba as God. So that was their only claim to fame. And Baba ensured that they reached the highest. So when you, so instead of just looking at sadhana, so you do your sadhana, whatever is required, but at the same time, I would say that you look at how you can allow Mohanji to utilize you to do whatever is it that needs to be done through you. And then, that probably would be a better one. Then you don't have to worry about eligibility. Then it's his job to take you from one step to the next. You just do what you have to do and he will do what he has to do. Let the master do his work.
So for us, very simple. We rely on our master, we surrender and do what comes to us.
But I say proactively rely. When I say rely, it's
it's
not, I know, but I'm saying it's not reliance, is not passive, it's proactive.
Yes,
When I say proactive is you connect, your only focus then is to connect to the master and ensure that the connection is at the highest level. That every time you're remembering him, every time you're doing something, whether it's seva, sadhana, something you're doing to remember him throughout the day, and you do more and more of that throughout the day, so that whether you do sadhana, it's to connect to Mohanji, whether you do seva, it's connect to Mohanji, and ensure that he gets to work more and more through you, so that that connection keeps you alive and keeps you progressing in the path, burning baggage and all that. Then the techniques come, the services come, the opportunities come, everything comes automatically. Then you don't have to struggle to to do those things.
Yeah, this is amazing. And also, in this whole thing of connection and for the master to help us emptiness to receive. That's also one aspect Mohanji always says, right? If the cup is full, can't do it. So adding to what all that Rajesh has just said. So any other questions for Rajesh? We don't get him that easily online. So let's make the best use of this. Anybody wants to ask him anything? Rajesh, when did you get it with Mohanji and why don't you share something about that?
Which one? Sorry, when did
you start connecting with Mohanji? And
I actually can't remember. I think it was 2013 or 13 or 12. I can't remember which year it was. I met him on some December. I think he had been to I met him at the lady in Mumbai used to do meditations. And twice at her house, I met Mohanji. I think it was 13 December and then 14 or 12, 13 and 14. Maybe 3 times I met him before. But my main connection was at Kailash. So once Kailash happened, I got connected in Kailash. Then after Kailash, I did the Kailash happened in August. Then November, I did the Rishikesh retreat. And after that, I think I got hooked on. And then after that, I think he told me to hang around with him more as much as I could. And then I did that. And then in a year later, I quit my job and then I joined. So So I think it was 30, 14 was actually when I really connected to him as a master. So, but I probably met him a year or more earlier in 13.
When you talk about, like you said, Kailash was the first step. For people like us who have read your first book, The Miraculous Ways, like we have translated, so I know this in very detail. There is a place where you say that at that particular time you were a lot into smoking and stuff like that, and how you would, how Monji worked through you, and how he would tell you, and how you would run away while, like, you would just keep your plate full with food, then he would come and you would, and there's so many smaller things. So as a disciple, when all of us meet Mohanji, all of us are on best behavior. But when you stay with him 24/7, then there are times when we lose that track. How is that experience? Like you
Well,
have
sorry,
been with,
sorry, I didn't get it. Staying with
like,
Mohanji.
yeah, you have traveled extensively with him. There are times when you were the sole person traveling with him, that kind of a thing. In that period, what was your experience at that time? Like on a normal basis, when you are with a master, like when we come to Ganesh Puri or when we are in some retreat or some place, we are all there with our mindset that okay, we are going to meet Mondi, be on our best behavior, and try to grow whatever. But when you're with him 24/7, there's a different equation. How will you describe that?
See, I think it's like a volcano. It's not, there's no, because I think with being with Mohanji, it's like you have no time to think. It's like he's constantly doing so many things and you're moving at his pace. I think I don't think, I'm not even sure if I can, I will take some time to even get adjusted to that speed now because Mohanji's speed is completely different. He's like, at a complete, see, thing is, Mohanji doesn't, for Mohanji, it's not work, it's purpose. So he's purpose bound and for him, anything that needs to be done with purpose, he has to do it. So it doesn't matter whether it's 3 in the morning. And then I remember Nadananji had told me that when you're with the master, you should sleep after him and get up before him. So that's
Yes.
something I used to do. But then it's because Monji sleeps maybe like 2 in the right. He'll sleep at 1:32, get up at 4, 5 because he'll go somewhere. When you're traveling, it's like crazy. It's like he will he looks at what he needs to get done rather than his own body or so I don't think there's much time to think over there. And that's the part of being with the master closely is like he doesn't give you time to think. If there's just so much happening that your mind is constantly like just hyper action. So, there's no thought process that I have to do this or do that. It's much easier. See, the thing is, the Mohanji you meet outside, when you meet him, see, Mohanji does as much as the other person allows. So when you meet him,
Absolutely.
if you tell him that you don't like, if you don't want him to push you much, he will not push much. So the Mohanji that you meet outside is somebody that you have told that, okay, this is my boundary, and he'll play, laugh, crack jokes, do things, and he'll do, and very rarely will he push. But once you say that, this is it, I am ready, I want to go a little further, then you should see how he behaves. Because then, not just say whether you're with him or away from him, doesn't matter. Then it's all up to us. I mean, how fast we want to travel. So depending on how fast you want to travel, so you can experience a volcano speed even in your own life right now. If you're completely up to that level, saying that, Monji, do whatever you want, just move everything out, and then I want to be eligible in this lifetime itself, but I'm ready to experience whatever needs to experience. Then, it's like he said, it's like fast tracking the whole thing. So when you go to a master, so a lot of times he says that people come to a master and their whole life goes upside down or a lot of turbulence happens. He says they come and complain and they say, oh yeah, I came and met you and all this happened. But he said, that is why you came to me in the first place, because you wanted all this trash to come out. All that is sitting inside you, not in me. That trash is sitting inside you. So when you come close to me or when you start, you say that you want to let go of it, all of that has to come out in front of you. So what you're seeing is something that's already sitting inside. The pace is increased because you said, I want to go fast. So then the turbulence has also come out. So I think the turbulence that comes up is when you're close to a master, you cannot avoid it. When you meet him once in a while, you can avoid the turbulence because he will also not push it hard and you also don't want to take it hard. So for example, in that sense, what happens is he'll be like playful and he'll do whatever you need to do. But the moment you come close, or even if you're not close physically, but if you are with that intention saying that, I am ready to let go, I want to go to the highest, then you see how much fun there is in life. Then it is. I mean, it's but the thing is, it's ours. It's not. A lot of people say Mohanji does this. Mohanji, it's not Mohanji doing anything actually. Mohanji is just sitting and watching the show. When you come close, your intention that I want to go faster, I want to release faster. So he says, okay, bring it on. So he starts reviewing stuff. But there are people I know who sit next to him and he will not touch them also because they don't want anything to be done to them. So he respects that. He respects your choice. So there are people I know who will come to him and stay with him, but they will not move much. And he knows that he will also not touch them because mentally they have told him saying, don't push me too much. So he will, I think most masters don't really have anything to do with our bullshit. Their concept is like, you tell us how much you want to go, how far you want to go, that's up to you. You want to leave, that's also up to you. I don't have any problem. As long as you're with me, you're my problem. If you say I want to go fast, that is also my problem. I see he takes responsibility. So what he does in terms of pushing all the buttons, making you do stuff, all that happens because we have told him to do it. He has no interest in. So I think to answer your question again, being next to Mohanji, it's like your invitation to do whatever he has to do. So I think so there is no thought process in terms of, but I mean, long story short, you can't think much when you're next to Mohanji. There's no time to say, you don't even know what's happening. You're constantly in a flux and worried about what's happening or something has to happen in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you don't even know when the day ends. You don't know where the day went. You're then wondering what else how did the day go? There was so much thing left to do. Then again, tomorrow you wake up and say, oh, yesterday's plus today's. So after a point of time, then I know, but it's part of life. I think it's like being with Mohanji is fun.
Tornado button is on then.
Yeah, tornado button. So I think that's your tornado mode. If you want to go in hyper mode, then you go next to Mohanji.
Okay, Bharati also has a question, I think. Let's share. Bharati, please.
Hi, Rajesh.
Hey, Bharti, how are you?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Same here. Same here.
I think you already answered it, but still, my question was: at one point did you ask Mohanji inside mentally or maybe even physically? I want to move fast. Do what you want to do, or
Move fast, you said.
but you explained us that when you're close to the master, you actually say, "I want to move fast.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do." So is that was that something what you really mentally said, or did that just happen?
I think it is
Like, was there a certain point that you asked Mohanji inside or outside, do what you want to do, I want to move fast?
No, I don't think there's, I'll think about it whether I asked at some point, but one thing I feel is this question a lot of people ask me, I'm answering something else now. Some people say that, most of you are lucky to be with Mohanji. And, I hear this a lot from people saying, it's so great to be with Mohanji. You can be with him all the time and all that. But I don't think thing is, it's a question of choice. I think everybody has a chance to be next to Mohanji, physically or energetically. Like people like Sarah who experience him as part of the connection. Like she can tell where Mohanji is, what Mohanji is speaking, what Mohanji is wearing, what he is doing at any point in time. So she will tell that Mohanji is now attending, doing a satsang here, and she will actually tell what he's talking. She can say verbatim what he's talking at any point in time. She's that deeply connected. Obviously, Mohanji allows her to whatever Mohanji allows her to see, but she's that deeply connected that so physically is not relevant. Her connection is probably more stronger because she virtually, even sitting in South Africa, she travels with him all over the world. So, thing is, I think it's more about what I was saying earlier. Unless you have that thought, see, the thing is, Mohanji is such a powerful master that he doesn't need people to be with him. He can, for example, if you have any spiritual requirement or connect this thing, moment, he can sit from far and enable you. He doesn't need you to be next to him. So he's that powerful that you don't. Why would you want to be next to him? That is only for two reasons. One is obviously you're saying that we want to go faster, but the second thing is Mohanji is doing a lot of stuff in the world. So if Mohanji needs to enable us to do more, he brings us close, gets us to do something, and then pushes us away. So the point is, his job of getting people close is to energize them to do more in the world. So there's a lot more of that happening because he's got a huge amount of work in the world. So anyone who gravitates, I don't think anybody who doesn't have that intention consciously or subconsciously would come close to him. For the simple reason being, as I said, when you come close to Mohanji, there's a lot of shaking that happens. Your role principles, your view of life, your view of yourself, your view of the world, he shakes everything and brings all the shit out. So all the crap that's sitting inside us comes out. Now, unless you're ready to go through all of that, why would you be able to go through all of that unless you have the intention to go fast? See, sitting in the house also we can do all that. I used to do my sadhana before for a year when I was not directly with Mohanji. I used to meet him 10, 15 days in for a week like we do now. A week or 10 days I would meet him. Then I would go back to work and I would be in my house and do my sadhana, and then I'd be the same person I was earlier. And then I realized this is not working because when I'm with Mohanji, I'm certainly different. But when I go back home, I'm again back to being the usual Rajesh. So then I said, I need to change that. So then he said, to stay connected, I figured out that you need to do seva. That when you're connected to Mohanji's work, you're still there next to him. But over a period of time, I figured out that, I was doing a lot more seva than my actual work in the office. So at some point, it made me decide that, it made no sense to continue because eventually they would throw me out because I was not doing much work anyways. But I feel that you have to have that clear thought of wanting to progress quickly to be with Mohanji. Whether you state or not, because otherwise it's very hard to stay back because a lot of times you're questioning everything in life, including your own utility, whether you're doing the right thing, whether the Mohanji is the right master. Yeah, and sometimes he even looks ugly saying, oh my God, this man is so bad. And, he's doing so many bad things because, the mind plays with so many things that unless you're really sure that, okay, then you go past all that and say, no, I'm not going to listen. I know he's the right person. And then, so you need that kind of, and I'm saying that experience, whether you're with Mohanji or outside, is there because unless you really have that thing going, it's very hard to stay sane. It's very easy to run away. And a lot of people run away also because it's very easy you want to run away from that because it's a lot of, because when you come next to him, you can't hide anymore. All your shit has to come out. And if you're ready to hide, then you can't stay next to him. And if you're not ready to hide, then that means you have made a decision.
I always, I think we laugh because Mohanji is always making joke of you, fun of you, saying stupid things about you. You must be really, I don't know, like what, it is just flowing off you. And I don't know, how does that work for you? Because you are the most jokeable person for Mohanji.
No, what I'm saying is whatever Mohanji does is, okay, the thing is, I used to have this thing called first principles. So in the first principles is like when science, when all your theories break down, like for example, something new comes up and your theory breaks down, then whatever you had thought, like for example, Newton had these 3 laws of action, reaction and all that. But when atoms happened and something else happened, so people started questioning, saying, these laws don't work anymore. So in science, there's this concept called first principles. First principles means these are true no matter what. And you start from there again. So start from the very basics, saying these are the truths of life for you. And you start from there. So my truths of life was when I first met Mohanji was that Mohanji has not promised me anything. So whenever I hit a point where I'm questioning whether I should be with Mohanji, whether I should continue or I'm feeling very stressed. So I used to tell myself saying, I'm not, Mohanji has not asked me to come. I joined him. I asked him to join. Second, Mohanji never promised me anything. He said, be with me, go with the journey and see where it goes. So he never said that, I'll enlighten you or I'll do this or I'll do that. On third thing, he never said it will be easy. He never promised anything actually. He never said anything. So whenever things became hard, I was like, okay, I took the jump. So I can't blame him for that. And second, if he never said that he would do anything. So whatever's happening is part of the story. I mean, I decided to take this up and this is what is happening. So I was like, fine, let me go with it. So I would continue. Over a period of time, what happened is when I started observing what he does, the way he does it, the way he works for other people, the way he's always 24/7 doing things for other people. And I see how he behaves with many people over a period of 3 or 4 years. And now almost 11 years, even though I'm not right next to him. But every time I'm with him, I know how he always thinks only of others. how it does things. A lot of things that it does, like what people know about transformation, is like 5% of what they know Mohanji has done is only like a percentage or 2% of what he's done. What he does behind the scenes, nobody even knows. Because I know a lot of times he'll say, do this puja for this person, also add this person to the homa. So a lot of things he'll do behind the scenes, which nobody will even know that he's doing that for them. So in that sense, I figured out that my rule became that, Mohanji, whatever Mohanji does is right. My rules changed from there. Then my first rule is whatever Mohanji does is right. Mohanji cannot do anything wrong. And so now with that rule, it makes no difference now. Because for example, what you're saying, whether he's laughing, smiling, making jokes, it's all I know. He doesn't have to do it. Like I was saying earlier, he doesn't have to do any of it. He can let me take care of, and let me handle my baggage, do whatever he's doing is to reduce my baggage or do whatever is required for that, keep my ego in check or whatever. He knows what he needs to do. I do not have that visibility to understand what he's doing, so let me not question it. What's the point? So maybe at that point in time, maybe my ego gets a little pushed around sometimes. Nowadays not so much, but sometimes it gets pushed around depending on the kind of people around. But my point is, even if it shakes me to some extent, after some time I'd be like, okay, rule number one, he's not doing anything wrong, so let's just go ahead with it. And this has proved over time, because it's not that I've come to this rule, because I know that whatever he's doing is always for the best for the person. And second thing, and most importantly, he doesn't have to do it. He has already reached where he has to reach. He's here only to take us to where he has reached. So whatever he's doing is just it's not, I would even say it's actually not just a blessing, but it's a favor. So if we let him do what he has to do, that's the only thing we can do. If we try to do something else ourselves, it's a waste of time. He
Really
doesn't see.
amazing, Rajesh.
Yeah, you have to
I
understand
have
that.
one more.
Yeah, sure, good.
I have one more question for you. It's really amazing. Whatever comes out of your mouth, so whether I disturb you or not with. One more question is, when you look back, you just told me, you told us, like, I'm working on this thing until it doesn't bother me anymore, then I'm working on that thing. If you look back, can you tell a few things that don't bother you anymore?
I mean, it's
Difficult.
it's very hard for me, because I
Yeah.
think one of the things I feel is like somebody says, where have you reached and what have you done? In hindsight, maybe, but when I look at the general scheme of things, I don't think, I mean, one thing I feel is I've not changed much, because which is very, like, what are the things in terms of all the negatives and all that, right? I feel that a lot of it is still there. But the thing that it doesn't bother me anymore is that being with Mohanji, like I was telling the story in Kailash, saying that when we went to Mukambika, so there's this place where Lord Garuda is the eagle mount of Lord Vishnu, and he had done tapas on the mother in this place called Mukambika. Mukambika is a very powerful place of the Divine Mother in south of India. We've done a few retreats over there. So Mohanji asked me to go and check if the cave is open during our first trip there. So when I went there, I saw it was closed, and when I walked back to him, he was telling people, saying that, there was a few people with us. It was a private trip. It was not a retreat. So he's telling them, saying that, there are few people who know exactly who I am, and you're connected to me, knowing my stature fully well. They know exactly who I am as a master, and they joined me with that full awareness. And that was, I mean, when he was completing the statement, I just entered the group, and he looked at me and said, "You're not one of them." So like, I didn't know what to say. And I just walked in, and so then I thought about it, and I asked him, saying, okay, so that is okay. So maybe I don't understand stature, which is true. I don't understand your stature. But then I asked him, saying, okay, if that is the case, what should I do? And he said, there's nothing to do. You already arrived. So what he was saying is that, which is true for every one of the people on this call, anybody who's connected to Mohanji, is that reaching the master is the hardest part. Now, whether like me, I came unconsciously, or whether a person came consciously with full awareness, or who came like me with complete unconsciousness without knowing who the master is, makes no difference. I've reached there. End of the day, the end result is the same. We reach the master. All of us have reached that master. And there's nothing to do after that. You just do what he tells you, and you connect and stay connected, and you stay connected throughout. So I don't think so much in terms of what is lost. I just look currently at what is bothering me now. So if I'm like, for example, I almost missed this last, I think almost a week or 2 weeks, I'm struggling with Tamas. So I had, thankfully, I have a good thing that I've set 3 or 4 alarms. And I was wondering, why is this phone ringing so much? I mean, it's like constantly buzzing. And I had sat down to chant and I slept off. And I woke up and I saw 6:22. I saw, oh shit, it's Rekha's session. And I quickly rushed and I washed my face and I kept running. But the thing is, I'm saying so this is what I'm struggling this week. So I'm more focused on what is bothering me this week and getting that over with rather than, because this thing is very theoretical saying because what doesn't bother, like Tamas was not bothering me 3 months back. Now it bothers me again. I think it's a loop. Depending on the circumstances, things keep going in and out. So until we exit, it's just good to focus on your current issues rather than, in hindsight, you can obviously look at what you have gained. So for example, in the sense that when I look at what Mohanji has given me in terms of whether it's writing, whether books or what actually theoretically or what do you call it, physically what has come out, whether the books that I've written or like the homeworks that I've done. So I mean, those things have happened. So I think there's some body of work that has happened, and there's a lot of grace. There was mentioning that in that Kailash thing again, saying that I don't know what I've done to deserve, because I know a lot of people are doing much better work than me. But Mohanji's grace in terms of what he's given me is like unbelievable. The amount of stuff he's given me in terms of whether technique, skills. I think when I used to be in Dharamshala, he even taught me to cook because I was the cook of the, unfortunately, to eat what I made him. So I used to cook in Dharamshala. So he even taught me because I was not at times cooking well. So and Mohanji is like a full master. He teaches everything, right? Right from how to wear clothes, how to talk. Like he gets to that level of detail where he will, I mean, when he's working on you, he will give all the details, what is to be done in life, how to pack a bag, how to zip a bag, everything. So I think in those terms, the proximity to the master, being around him for so long. So all those are what I say I've gained. But specifically what I've lost, I have no idea. So I think over time, I'll figure out what is not there. But I'm still there in sadhak mode where a lot of things are still bothering me as much.
Oh my God. That was really amazing, Rajesh, because for me, the main takeaway from all this is the 3 words you said. Mohanji is right. That was something, it really hit me, because it is so true. And we just, we, with all our ups and downs that we go through, like how you were saying 3 months back to now, you're tamasic, all those things which happen throughout that phase. I think we just need to keep remembering that we are connected to Mohanji, and Mohanji is right and he knows where he's taking us. Because, and another thing also, when you were speaking about the master, as I was thinking, you said proximity to master, staying with him, there is so much change happening within you, isn't it? So much of change, and you don't realize what's happening. So, like, it's simple thing, though Monji was not there, I was in Scotland at the MCB. It was so beautiful, the day to day, routine and everything, the way it was flowing. I thought I will never break that pattern. 3 months and that routine or the discipline, nothing will ever break. Come back home and slowly everything seeps in, like how you were saying, Rajesh, when you go back, the original Rajesh comes back. So when that was happening, I even asked Mohanji, I said, how do I maintain that? And then he said, create that temple at home. It was very simple. Actually, you can do it.
Yeah.
Create that temple at home. So that was also, for me, another takeaway. So today, what Mohanji is right is what is going to be there on my board, on my
No, I
head.
think this is something that I've over time. What happened is, I think each of us who goes through a spiritual journey has got turbulences where we have issues that we face, and there are things where we question our beliefs, the master journey. So I think one thing is, since I feel definitely writing your own journal and testimonials helps. So anything good that happens, if you write it down, whether you share it or not is different. But when you share it, it's good because a lot of us have got like the way reason I used to write testimonials is I have read from a lot of masters and other people's experiences to be who I am today, and they have guided me on the journey. So I feel it's my seva as well to write so that other people benefit from understanding my connection to the master. So a lot of people understand that. The The second thing I feel is whenever this thing happens where you're connected to a master, the turbulences will keep coming up. So that's a given in life. But the one thing I feel is it's not about how well you're connected to the master, but the desperation you feel when things are not happening. For example,
Very true.
the desperation, what I say is, even if nothing is working in your life, if your desperation is that, you might lose the connection. If that desperation is not there, that means there's something fundamentally wrong. So that is what I
Absolutely.
normally feel. That at your worst time, you might not even be feeling that connection to the master anymore. That happens to people at times. But if within there is no burning desire or desperation that, oh my God, I might just lose connection with Mohanji forever. And that desperation brings you back. Even though at that time you're not fully connected to the master, you're weakly connected to the master. I feel you should have that desperation, because the moment you lose that desperation, then there's something fundamentally wrong. And this Nadanandaji had told me, saying that, when the master's kicking you, your life is good. Everything is fine, because
Yes.
that means that he's still doing something. When the master stops kicking you, that's when you should be worried, because that is when it means either there's nothing, either you have stopped taking the kicks because you're saying enough is enough, I don't want to take any more, or the master sees that you're so far gone that he doesn't want to work, he can't work anymore. So that's why I feel that at those points, Mohanji said, even when you're falling, which had happened to me once when that Hanumanji experience happened, he said, even when you're falling, if you still call out to me, then if you still call out to me, I can still do something. So you may not be you might be sort of disconnected, but if you still call out in those times, I can still come and help. It's not it's still there. So Sandra, the difference between yearning and desperation is something else. Yearning is the connection is there, and you're yearning to be with the master. That's a different thought. Desperation is where you're sort of semi-disconnected with the master already, not, or you're very weakly connected because situations in life or whatever's happening with you is making you question your beliefs and making you question the master's relevance, the master's connection, everything. So at that point in time, when you're at that weak spot, the desperation within is something within you deeply knows that this connection to the master is actually the whole point of your existence. That without that, your past experience tells you that you will lose everything. If that goes, then you're gone. So you don't have it. I mean, it's not that you already lost it to some extent, but that is desperation, saying that something deep within you says that every day you wake up and say, oh my God, I'm going to lose it now. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing sadhana. I'm not doing seva. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. So that thought process of losing it, that is desperation. That desperation is from deep within where you know that. So that is when you can still come back. But a lot of times you come even to a level of indifference where you say, okay, screw it. It doesn't matter. This master is not relevant. Or, if that is happening where you're not bothered with it, and even the signs of a losing connection, because the tradition always warns you that when you're slipping, and if you see the signs and it's showing you the signs and you ignore it, that's when you say something is really wrong. If that happens to you, then it's a matter of time. But if the desperation is within and you still lost the connection, you're not doing anything, you're in deep, deep shit, it's fine. You still make it. The desperation will bring you back to stable state at some point. It may not be good, it may not be clean, but it will still bring you back.
Wonderful. Anybody else wants to ask any question to Rajesh? Or Rajesh, why don't you share something funny about Mohanji? Some funny incident. It would be lovely for everyone to hear. Can you remember anything that?
When you ask me, I won't remember it. Ask me in particular, I don't know what. My whole life is only funny, so I don't know what to. I remember one incident was like, say, lying to a master. I think I was in Badrinath. I don't know. I think I was in Badrinath. And Mohanji was on one side of the hotel. I was on the other side of the hotel. His suite was on the other side. So when I went there, um, Mohanji had told me something, saying he had given me two instructions. One was that somebody had to go to a Baba temple, and somebody else had to go and offer a coconut to Baba. So I don't remember. I don't know. I think I that time I never used to write it down. So Mohanji says, "I said, okay, I'll do it." And then later on, I went, and then suddenly I was uh, when I was thinking about it, I just remembered, and Mohanji asked me. I don't know, Mohanji. Yeah, Mohanji asked me, saying that, "Is it done?" And I'm like, shit, what did he tell me to do? So I'm thinking, okay, what did he tell me? What did he tell me? What did he tell me? And then I went through and I suddenly remembered that I remembered, okay, somebody has to go to Papa temple and somebody has to go and offer a coconut. And so then, when so I called up this thing, Pooja Gandhi, and told her, you need to go to Baba temple and you need to go and offer a coconut. So then she went and offered, she went, I mean, things happened. And then I wrote back to him saying, it's done. And when you're super confident and super stupid, right, you'll go and write more stuff than what is required. You should just write yes, but no, I was like, I wanted to show, my God, I'm smart. I remembered also. So I wrote to him saying, Pooja went and offered a coconut. And he just wrote back saying, why Pooja? Shit. So, okay, Pooja was not supposed to offer the coconut. Somebody else was supposed to offer the coconut. And then the next line was, come, please come. I'm like, shit. I'm screwed now because I don't remember who was supposed to offer the coconut. And then I can't even remember the name. And then I have like, because thankfully at that time I had to walk across like a few minutes to reach his room. So I have 4 minutes to remember. I'm like, I'm shitting bricks. Trying to think, what happened. And then somewhere I got I got the idea of who was supposed to do it. And then I called him up and said, dude, you got to go to Baba's temple and offer a coconut over there. And then it's done. And then I came, and then I'm walking to Mohanji's room. I'm like, Mohanji, I got too much shouting today. I don't want any more shouting. So I'm going to lie to your face, and then you just accept it as the truth and let me go. You will not question it. You just accept it because I don't want, I mean, today my morning is already in bad. I don't want to make it worse by hearing more shouting. So I went to his room and he said, you said, and then I said, oh, that's not this person was supposed to do it. But he just looked at me and said, but you said Pooja. I said, no, nothing. I was just like something, I was thinking something, the two things, it just got mixed up. He said, he just looked at me and he said, you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. I said, okay, go.
So your prayers were also answered. Don't shout
Sorry?
at me. Your
No,
prayers
the
were
thing is,
also answered.
Mohanji had told me that the reason I find it very funny, this incident is, Mohanji had told me maybe a month or a year or 6 months or whatever, sometime back, just before this incident, he had told me saying that people normally feel I don't know anything. A lot of people come to me and they think I'm an idiot and they try to fool me and they lie to me and they do all these things and they think that I don't know. I said, I'm just watching the show. You want to lie to me? Lie to me. I have no problem. That's your problem. If you want to lie to a master, whatever. It's your consequence. I have nothing to do. I'm just a mirror. I enjoy the show. I don't care about it. But people think that I don't understand. So I was like, okay, anyway, yes, that's true. But for me, this thing is, I don't want to get any more beatings. So I'm like, good. I'm happy not to. So yeah, I think it's very.
This is something you had written about also. I remember reading something like this
I think I
about
must
you.
have written it in the structure. I didn't write it in the book for sure.
Yeah,
I
somewhere
didn't write it in the
I've
book. I must have
read it
mentioned.
somewhere.
I mentioned in videos. I don't think I've written about it. I must have mentioned in the video or something, one of these videos, because it's not it's not one of my proud moments in life. But yeah, so I've not written it down as yet. Maybe I should.
And I saw Kedar raising his hand, so I thought, okay, I'll spotlight both of you. What is it, Preeti and Kedar? Want to share something? Both of you had such a big smile on your face.
No, he wants to ask a question and he's telling me you are. So now it is all up to Kedar. Please ask the question.
Yeah, hi, Rajesh.
Right.
So just wanted to ask, what is the most difficult test being with the master or for you being with the monk?
I think it's every day. Every day. I don't see. Thing is, I don't think there is no such thing as the greatest test or whatever. I think this is what I was trying to say, that a person next to Mohanji or away from Mohanji makes no difference. The thing is, the test is what we want from him. Mohanji, there's no such thing as you see. Test is basically a very opposite way of looking at things. It's basically intention is what we have, and test is the result. Like, for example, when we say that we want to achieve something high in life, what comes as a result of it is like, for example, if it's like there's like 10 tons of garbage sitting somewhere, you can take it one piece at a time, you can take it one shovel at a time, you can take it one bucket at a time, you can put a whole pipe and start getting it. But then the faster you take it out, the more smell that comes out. If you take it slowly, it will take long period of time. But when you take it faster, the place gets completely messy for a short period of time. So point is, when you look at test, I think test and all is not logically the right way to look at it. The right way to look at it is what am I ready to release? And a lot of times what happens is the test is the point where you reach a point where you're like, you say, do I really want to continue on this level of speed? And then a lot of times you take a backseat also because like I said, when you're tired of taking the beating, it's not because Mohanji is bringing it up. It's like your speed is bringing up all the trash out. So then I'll give an example of Kailash. When you go to Kailash, when you go there, I think every other place I've been, like even Badri, it's very hard to reach Badrinath during the cloudburst. But once you reach there, you can stay there forever. It's like you don't want to go back. But Kailash is one place where once you go there, after a definite period of time, you say, okay, Shiva, I'm done. Let me go. I'm going. I don't want to stay back. Because it gets to a point, because that is the same thing I feel over here. Saying that after a point, you reach a stage where you are like, you need to be conscious. That is what you call a test, where you are conscious that this is actually the speed you want to go in life. So that is when people question the master, because it's for them, they look at the master as bringing all the garbage out, but actually garbage is sitting in them. The speed is decided by them. And when they get affected by it, they say then they want to either slow the speed or they don't want to get anything out. So they run away from the master completely. So either they run away or they leave the master, depending on which way they want to do it. But point I'm trying to make is everything is related to our own conditioning. So I think if you want everything, like Mohanji says, everything is achievable in one lifetime. The thing that he doesn't mention as much is that you need to be ready to deliver, to go at that pace, to go leave out in one lifetime. So I think everybody has that opportunity. Nobody is like special in terms of being next to Mohanji, or nobody is special in terms of leaving. And eligibility is also not something that anybody can have eligibility. It's your intention, and you don't even need to know. You just need to have that intention, say, I want to live in one lifetime. And then automatically all your priorities get shifted, because if you want to live in one lifetime, you won't be focusing so much on outside world, on your desires, on family, and not that you're leaving the family, but everything falls into perspective because you're not going to get stuck in things. You will make sure you do your dharma, but at the same time, your focus will be very clear, saying that, okay, I need to connect to Mohanji more because he will show me how to live life properly. He will show me how to exit properly. He will help me reduce my garbage faster. So that Mohanji first priority is a necessity of anybody who wants to live in one lifetime. Unless you're super connected to the master in every shape and form, only then can you really get an intensity of exit. Otherwise, if you're holding on to your life, like that's what I think Rekha ji and I had mentioned, saying that otherwise you do the thing, you go to a retreat, spend some time, then you come back and you go back to your normal life and get lost in it. Then again, after 6 months you go, but that is not how you can't build a body that way, right? Like for example, somebody wants to do fitness, unless you're in the gym 24/7, eating the right food, thinking the right things, taking the right sleep, you can't build a physique or a right physique or the right fitness until you're at a halda. You can't do it 6 months, every 6 months, do an intensive, come back and expect that the body will be like that. So I think that is what I mean. When you say test, right? The test, like a person who's like a fitness enthusiast. Every time he has to get up and he doesn't feel like going to the gym or going for a run, and then they still do it. That's the same. It's the same thing in a spiritual journey, because every time you wake up, you're reminding yourself, saying, no, I want to exit. So, okay, let me do this today. Let me do this. Maybe some days you don't, which is fine. But some days most days you end up doing the right thing. But I think Mohanji first priority is, like, the second thing I want to say, one is Mohanji is always right, and Mohanji is your first priority in life.
Absolutely.
Not because Mohanji needs you. Mohanji, I want to keep telling this to people, saying Mohanji has already reached there. He doesn't need the mission. He doesn't need to get the books, to meet the masters, to get all these things done, to meet people. He's doing it only giving an opportunity. And when he gives people an opportunity to work with them, it's because they need that to burn their karma. He doesn't need anything for that. So when they work on his mission, they get the chance to burn their karma. They get the chance to to offer. Everything is give and take. What you're offering in terms of seva, you get in return as upliftment or evolution. So I think it's a give and take. If you're ready to give, and everything is give and take, including the master. And you have to give, because what you earn through karma, you have to give to burn also, because it's not that easy that you say, okay, I did all the bad things, I did all these things and accumulated so much karma, and now, a master will take it away. No, you can't take it away. And not only we say, take my karma, take my family's karma, take my ancestors' karma, take my friends' karma, take my dog's karma. You have to pay. Somebody has to pay. Mohanji is not paying for everyone. Each person has to do whatever it takes to pay for the karma and get. When you do sadhana, when you do seva, that is, you're paying for your karma. So I think, yeah. So anyway, so your answer for your test is, everything is a test. As long as you want to progress, there's everyone, I mean, not just me or everybody has a test with the master based on how fast you want to exit.
Thanks, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Wow, that was lovely, Rajesh. Really lovely. Rajesh, I think we need to go for a part 2 with you. So please commit to this group. You'll come again.
No problem. Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime you want me, Rekha.
We really need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
because
sure.
this is so beautiful. So many takeaways for each of us, right? All of us, I think. Everybody has learned something today from you and your experiences also. And please share more experiences with us
I will.
another time. Yeah. So
Definitely, Rekha ji. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here anyways. So
this
thank
is
you for listening.
amazing because we all are together just to talk on our favorite topic. So, Mohanji.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Thank you
anyone
for
has
having me.
any question, or we'll close for today, and we will bring Rajesh back again for us to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
Let's have him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll love to be
Thank
back.
you, Rajesh.
Yeah, thanks,
Very
Rekha.
nice.
Rekha ji.
Amazing,
So,
Rajesh. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rajesh.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jai
Rajesh.
Mohanji, everyone.
Thank you, Rekha ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
You did
Rajesh.
All
a
the
Thank you,
great
friends.
Rekha.
job.
Jai Mohanji.
Jai
Thank you,
Mohanji.
Rajesh.
Jai
Thank you,
Mohanji.
Rekha. Jai Mohanji.
Thanks,
Jai
Rekha ji.
Mohanji. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
We'll
Love
meet
you,
again next
Kamath.
Monday. There's somebody who's especially saying thank you to Kamath. Okay, we'll meet again. See you all. Jai Mohanji.
See you all.
Jai Mohanji.